welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all doing well. So today's video we are following on the midwifery theme, and we're going to be talking all about how I got into midwifery, or how I got into university. I mean, same kind of thing. I've got my little notebook because there's a lot of things that I want to say, but I am going to start off by saying that I have always wanted to be a midwife. Okay, literally always had an interest in it. I remember even going back to like doing my GCSEs and things like that. I remember learning about biology and learning about like physiology in childbearing and just finding it so interesting. Like, I don't know, I just light up whenever I talk about it. So that was the first thing that I wanted to say, that I have always wanted to be a midwife, and for some reason or another I put it off. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. So yeah, I also want to point out my vision board in the back because I am very proud of that. I ordered everything off Lab, which is a great printing company. If you haven't checked them out, I'll link them in the description. But they print really good high quality pictures, so I had them all picked out on Pinterest and I popped them all up on there because you know I'm into my crystals, my manifestation. I need to have a vision board. So, going all the way back to when I was doing my GCSEs, I moved kind of halfway through my GCSEs from up north to down south, so I was kind of upheaved, but I never did any of the health and social care. I never did anything like that. I did pretty good at my GCSEs. I got 3 A's, 3 B's and 3 C's, so I could have stayed on for sixth form. I was actually at the time considering doing dance as a sixth form. Don't know where I would have ended up doing that, but I actually didn't stay on for sixth form and I decided against going to sixth form. So I actually went and did beauty therapy at my local college. So I went in and did my level 2 beauty therapy, which was for a year, and then once I'd finished I then went on to do my level 3 beauty therapy, which in my level 3 beauty therapy we also had an anatomy and physiology exam. You know, we learned a lot about all of the different systems of the body, including the reproductive system and things like that. It just always like lit a fire in me whenever I talk about it. And yeah, you know, I'd always say that being a midwife was my dream job, but I never thought that I could get there, mainly because I actually didn't do any A-levels, and to me that was a conventional way to get into university. You know, you've done your A-levels, you got a certain grade, and then you can get into university because that's what they look for. So when I actually finished, or I was coming to the end of my level 3 in beauty, I was working at a spa, which I loved. It was a beautiful spa, but it kind of made me realise that working in the beauty industry wasn't for me. I kind of got a little bit bored from it. I couldn't see myself doing that every day. I wanted something that kind of tested my brain more and like used my brain more. So I looked into careers in healthcare. I just had kind of like a little look around, see what was out there, see if anything interested me. And I went into looking at pharmacy, and I looked at all the roles that there were in the pharmacy industry. I looked at the pharmacy assistant, I looked at the pharmacist, I looked at the pharmacy technician. You know, there are actually so many different roles in a pharmacy that people don't really understand, and I'm planning on doing a whole other video about my pharmacy experience because there are so many people that also reach out to me in regards to that, because it is such an interesting career. So I'll definitely be doing another video all about that further down the line, but I diverse. When I was doing my level 3, when I was coming to the end of my level 3 should I say, I had to look around for some, you know, some pharmacy kind of jobs. I initially was just looking at like a pharmacy assistant or a counter assistant because I hadn't done my pharmacy service skills or anything like that. So again, I didn't really expect to be able to do anything in pharmacy. I also went back to my local college because they offered a level 2 in pharmacy service skills, and I kind of inquired about that. However, that was an apprenticeship, so you're literally on like the basic like low wage when you go and do that, so that wasn't the ideal. I did also at the same time, and I remember this so vividly, I was coming back down from up north, unfortunately, after my granddad's funeral, and I just remember saying, do you know what, I'm just going to apply for this job. I never thought I'd get it. So this was a pre-registration pharmacy technician, and this was at my local trust. It was perfect in every single way for me. The pay was great, the training was great, and you come out as a registered professional. So, you know, I applied for it, didn't expect that anything would happen, but I just had this overwhelming gut feeling that I needed to do it, and that I needed to kind of push myself and do something out of my comfort zone. So fast forward a little bit, and I actually got invited for interview. So I was so excited about this. I honestly couldn't believe it, and you best believe that I prepared so much, especially on calculations, because maths has never and probably will never be my strong point. So I was definitely working out all my drug calculations. I was looking at kind of some pharmacology, just having a brief look at trust values, things like that, just to kind of oversee some knowledge in case they ask me these things at interview. So I remember the interview again so vividly. I was only 17 and I was definitely the youngest person in this room. It was a group interview and I want to say there was probably about 15 of us. I honestly can't remember. And I remember walking in there and feeling so overwhelmed, and the first activity was kind of going around a table saying your previous experience or whatever, and an interesting fact about you. I kid you not, everybody pretty much had some pharmaceutical or some healthcare background, and I was like, oh god, like I literally don't know anything. So the thing that I said was that I used to do dance competitions, and that's basically as interesting as I got back then. So I said that, I mentioned that in my interview. There was nothing really else that I could say about myself, and everybody was obviously saying all these amazing things, all of their amazing experience, and I was like, I'm a receptionist in a spa. And then we had a mini calculations quiz. It wasn't anything too extreme, it was okay, to be honest. And then we also had it was like a little booklet of questions and answers, and they had things on there about the trust policies, which of course I remembered because I'd revised them so much. And then there was also like a diagram of like the physiology of an ear, and I remember this because I'd never looked at this before. Even when I did my A&P at beauty, I cannot remember the year. So I think that was mainly just there to kind of see how you do under pressure. So, you know, I tried to label everything as much as I could. I didn't give up, and I think that's what they were kind of looking for in the interview. So that was an all-day interview. I mean, I do remember it, but at the same time it's kind of like a blur because it literally went so quick. And you know when you're feeling anxious in the minute and you walk away from it and you're like, you just have like a blank space in your memory, kind of. So again, I went away from that interview. I felt really positive about the interview, I'm not gonna lie, but I did have like just a feeling that because I was the only one that hadn't had any pharmaceutical knowledge, because I was really young, and I'd just come from like a beauty background, that I honestly didn't think that I would get the job. I want to say maybe fast forward a week, 2 weeks maybe. I remember I was at my dad's old works and I got a call. I was always like waiting by the phone. I was literally just wanting to know. So I got the call and I found out I got the job. I was absolutely thrilled. So I want to say this was August 2018, I don't know, maybe a little bit before. Timings are a little bit of a blur to me, but anyway, I'd literally just turned 18 when I started at the job. It was honestly crazy. I felt so young to just be entering into the NHS, and I felt so lucky to just enter into the NHS at such a young age. The training for the pharmacy technician, it was basically a merge of working in practice, so working full-time in the pharmacy alongside external assignments and things that you kind of had to complete and do in your own time. And we also had a couple of residentials, and they were at a different university to the one that I'm at now, where you'd go and stay on campus for a week and you'd have lectures and that kind of thing. I want to say that I really enjoyed the pharmacy course as a whole, and if you are looking to go into pharmacy and you're interested in that, I know that the course has just changed, but I want to say that it's so interesting. You learn so much, and I'm a bit of a nerd and I absolutely love pharmacology, so I did really enjoy that. I loved the experience that I got. I loved the people that I met through doing it, and I've gained a lot of friendships from working in that place. I still love it. I still work there on the bank now, so it's great to just kind of keep my knowledge topped up. But back to midwifery. So I'm going to say towards the end of my first year as a student technician, I was going to these maternity wards quite a lot to do their drugs top-ups and things. So I was going to the delivery suite, and I remember this one time, I want to say that it was maybe around Christmas time because it was quite quiet, and this was at a weekend. And I went up there to deliver some medication, and I was speaking to the midwives up there, and I said, I can't even believe that I had the confidence to say this. I basically said, I'm really interested in becoming a midwife. I don't have any A-levels, like what's the best way through? And one of these midwives sat and talked to me for, it was only about 5 minutes because I had a job to do. But, she just explained that, it's just to do with UCAS points. It doesn't always have to come down to having to A-level, from having A-levels. And it kind of reignited that fire. I remember coming back down to the pharmacy department and thinking, okay, Now I need to be a midwife. Like, this is my calling, this is my time, I need to pursue my dream. So I then went away, I started looking at, you know, personal statements, I started looking at the universities nearby, their entry requirements. A lot of them unfortunately did say that they wouldn't be accepting my beauty therapy diploma, because basically I got UCAS points for my level 3 beauty diploma, which I got at distinction level, and then the rest had to come from my pharmaceutical science BTEC. So the pharmaceutical science was at a level 3, and depending on the grades that you got was the amount of UCAS points that you got. So I worked my arse off for those 2 years, and I made sure that I got a double distinction star, which I'm very proud of. It wasn't easy, but I got there, and I'm so proud of doing that. So I got enough UCAS points in total for, you know, the entry requirements onto quite a lot of universities. However, I wasn't sure at the time if they would accept my beauty therapy course, but I'll get onto that in a few minutes. After that, and after knowing that I was gonna go for it, knowing the universities near me, I did a couple of open days, so I kind of knew the kind of universities that I was looking at. I then worked on my personal statement for like ages. I worked on my personal statement for so long. I probably had about 20 drafts, like I'm not even joking. I got every single person to read it in my family. I also had one of the midwives at my local trust, who's actually going to be one of my educational midwives now. She read over my personal statement and she made notes on it and things, and I just found it so helpful. Honestly, so many people helped me get on this journey, so many people supported me, and I'm so thankful for that, because honestly without these people I don't know if I would have been on this journey that I am on now. So I had so much help and support. I had previous students read through it, and it's all about kind of just reaching out and using the people around you, because 9 times out of 10 they will be willing to help. I have people send me their personal statements, I have a little read over them. I'm quite happy to do that. If anybody has me on my midwifery Instagram, which is here, send me a DM. I'm here to kind of help with personal statements if you want me to. And I do also have a video on it, which was my first ever video, so we're just going to ignore the quality of it. I'm probably going to remake that at some time because it's disgraceful, but you know, the information's great in there, so that video is there nonetheless and will be linked at the end of this video, despite how crappy it's filmed. But you know, it's fine, we move on, we progress, we grow. That's life. During the time that I was writing my personal statement, I also was lucky enough to do some online courses through a company called Nurture Natal. Honestly, my brain's kind of like gone at the minute. Also, if you can hear some background noise, I'm sorry, Brian's watching a film downstairs. So yeah, I did some online courses through that. I did some on hypnobirthing, I did some on breastfeeding and oxytocin, and then we did a whole day on becoming a midwife. So there was a lot of information there, and they were so beneficial. I've recommended so many people to this company because I'm not sure if they still offer the courses, but they were definitely very good at the time that I did them. I also attended an antenatal class, which was so beneficial. I literally just reached out to people nearby me. Obviously in COVID times it's different, but I just sent a couple of emails across, and I was lucky enough to be able to attend a couple of antenatal classes, which of course gave me an insight and just helped me kind of like boost my confidence as well, talking to different people. So yeah, and the final thing that I was doing was I also worked in a care home for about 3 months. This was supposed to be a long-term thing, however I was working full-time in the pharmacy and then I was working weekends at the care home. It just became a little bit full-on, especially doing my pharmaceutical science course at the same time, so I had to let that go. But I definitely got a lot of insight and a lot of transferable skills even from that short amount of time working in that care home. So I would definitely recommend, if you can, to kind of see, if you're not familiar with the care industry, see if you can get a job working in a care home, see if you can attend some online classes, things like that. Just really have a look around, see what's in your local area, because a lot of the time there's so much out there that you don't even realise that you can utilise for your midwifery journey. Okay, so I want to say September 2019, I remember we were on holiday in Spain. It makes me sad talking and thinking about holidays because I literally just want to be on holiday again. But I applied to university there because that's literally the date that the UCAS opened. So I had my personal statement written and I had everything ready to go, but I literally pressed send And that was great. Of course I celebrated with drinks, who doesn't on holiday? But yeah, I remember exactly when I sent it off. It was such a momentous moment because I never ever saw myself applying for university, let alone for a midwifery degree, so it was quite surreal. Then a couple of months after applying, I started to get track notifications, which is you get notifications from UCAS track when there has been a change to your application or anything like that. Unfortunately, all but one of my universities I got declined from. At the time, my top choice university I got declined from, and I remember I was on a caravan holiday and I was honestly distraught when I got that email. All of those were based on the fact that they did not take my beauty therapy course points into consideration because they weren't healthcare related to them. So I definitely took quite a few knocks when I was applying for university. I definitely went through periods of thinking I'm not going to get in, this isn't for me. But I just had this gut feeling, and I got the interview through for the university that I'm at now. When I first got it, I honestly wasn't thinking that I was going to go. I had never thought really about going to this university, which I don't know why, because it works so much better than any of the others. But you know, I got the invite to interview for the university I'm at now in October. And you best believe that I spent all that time preparing for my interview. I did all the reading, I read all the documentation, I read the Saving Babies Lives, I read the Better Births, which is the big document. So if you've got a midwifery interview, I don't know what Better Births is, this is a message for you now to go and read Better Births, because it's going to come up. I also read Birth Like a Feminist, which is a great book, and I had a conversation with one of the interviewers, which is actually now my personal support tutor, for about 5 to 10 minutes about this book and about the views that were in the book, and you know, how they sparked even more of an interest. You know, I definitely also focused on a specific niche of midwifery and researched more into that. That's also really beneficial, because if they ask you to talk about something that you're passionate about in midwifery, you have got something to speak about. So it's definitely worth having a look into what aspects of midwifery really catch your eye and really draw your attention, so that you can focus mainly on those, so that you can literally have a whole speech if somebody asks you about them. The 8th of January 2020 came around, and that was my interview day. I remember I got up so early to do my hair and makeup. I actually have a picture of me on the interview day, which I'll pop up here. I was so nervous. I went with my parents, they dropped me off, and it was an all-day thing. I remember when I got dropped off, I forgot my phone, so I had to text on one of the other girls that was there for the interview. I had to text on her phone to get my mum to come and drop it back off. It didn't start off great, but honestly the day got better, and again I have a whole video about my interview experience. I will link that at the end of the video as well. So that just gives you a little bit of an insight on what you can kind of expect at an interview. They're definitely not as daunting as people always think they are, and I actually ended up having such a good day. I had so much fun and I met so many lovely people. So honestly, if you are invited to interview, I know that you're going to feel nervous, but honestly it is just an opportunity for you to show yourself, to showcase your skills, and honestly to have a little bit of fun. The worst part of my midwifery interview application experience was the wait. Okay, so the wait from interviewing to finding out if I'd got into my chosen university was awful. I waited for 3 months, and those months dragged. I remember constantly emailing them, calling them. I remember other people finding out they'd got their place at university, so automatically I thought, okay, well, I haven't got my place, nobody's told me. And I honestly got so anxious about it, and I had to calm myself down. But eventually, at the end of March 2020, I got the UCAS track that I had been waiting for, and that was of course that I had gotten into university. So I had a conditional offer of my grades of my pharmaceutical science diploma, which I did get. I'm really thankful for that. Like I said, I really did work my ass off to get those grades. So yeah, then my offer became conditional, I think about July time last year, and it all just felt so real. Honestly, the build up to university, getting to know my cohort was crazy, especially in COVID times. You know, you would have normally meet up, or you would normally have had, you know, welcome events. Our welcome event was online. It was all very different. But yeah, here I am now at the end of my 3rd week as a student midwife, and it is honestly crazy. And I just want to be a reminder for anybody at any stage in their midwifery application that, you know, you are worthy, you have so many skills that would be great as a midwife. You would be a great student midwife, and I have faith in every single one of you. Like I said, if you have any questions or if you want any guidance about, you know, your personal statement, your interview prep, honestly just send me a message and I will try to help. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I will definitely try to help where I can. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed having a little learn about my midwifery experience, and to know that you don't always have to go about it the conventional way. So I did not do my A-levels. As I mentioned, I went about it a different way, and you know, it's not just black and white. There are so many ways that you can get into your dream career, and I would also say to never give up, because I was lucky enough to get in on my first cycle, but sometimes it takes quite a few cycles, and that has no reflection on you. That is just the fact that it's such a sought after degree to get into. So if you've got an interview, you know, just you should be so proud of yourself, because other people are seeing things in you that maybe you don't always see. So yeah, that was just a little message that I wanted to give out. But if you did like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Also, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you're applying for university, if you're a student midwife. Just say hey, whatever. Just leave it in the comments below. Also, if you haven't yet, I mean, it's a bit rude, but don't forget to click on that subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it, which will notify you whenever I upload, which currently is a double upload of Fridays and Sundays at 7 PM UK time. I have got so much midwifery content coming at you, and I also have a midwifery series. If you haven't already checked that out, be sure to check out the other videos in that. So I hope you all have a lovely evening or morning or afternoon, whatever time you're watching this video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye guys!